So over the past few weeks, I've been releasing videos where I show you the top neighborhoods in Portland, Oregon that fall into various different price brackets. We started off at the lower end of the scale, looking at where to find homes for under $500,000, and we've been gradually working our way up the price scale. So in today's video, we're stepping up our price bracket fairly substantially, because in this video, I'll be showing you the very best neighborhoods in Portland, Oregon to live if your budget is between $700,000 and $1 million. So hello and welcome, I'm David Backholer. I'm a real estate broker based here in Portland, Oregon, and my goal is to help you find your perfect home here. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome along. Every week I release new videos on what it's like to live in Portland, Oregon, share my experiences of when I relocated to the area so that your relocation here goes super smoothly. Now, if you are thinking about moving here, please do reach out. Give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you through the process. Okay, so let's get on with the topic of today's video. And as mentioned at the top of the video, we're increasing our price point fairly substantially, and we're going to be looking at the top neighborhoods where you'll consistently find homes for under $1 million. Now, this is a fairly big leap from last week's video where we were looking at homes for under $700,000. And the reason for this is that once you start to look at homes over $700,000, the neighborhoods tend to be the same. For example, $700,000 might buy you a 2,000 square foot home, whilst $1 million might get you closer to a 3,000 square foot home. But these price points are slightly different, but it will still get you into the same neighborhood. Now, if you remember, the median price point for a home in Portland is around $615,000. So we will now be focusing on neighborhoods that are substantially above this as we dig into the more expensive and premium neighborhoods. So let's start things off and dig into our map and start to see what our options are. Okay, so let's start things off, and I want to give you a very high level lay of the land, and of course then we'll dig into some individual neighborhoods. So we're on my website. You'll see every time there's a little dot or a price point, that means that there is a home or multiple homes for sale in that individual area. And I've got selected properties, single family homes. We've filtered out multi-family homes, filtered out land. And single family homes, townhouses and condos are included in this. And anything between $700,000 and $1 million is currently showing. So if you've been watching the last few videos as I'm building up this program, under $500,000, $600,000, you'll see plenty of homes in North Portland, but now you'll see very few homes are in the $700,000 to $1 million range in this area. You'll also see east of the 84 and kind of east of Montevilla, for example, there's almost nothing on the market in this range of $700,000 to $1 million, because again, we saw these areas here featured predominantly in the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 range. So you'll see the bulk now of the homes that we can see is kind of in the inner northeast, inner southeast Portland, and then spread out all across southwest and northwest Portland. And this is kind of what you would typically expect. So we're opening up a lot more neighborhoods now. We've got this specific price point, a lot more central to some areas in downtown, but certainly in Irvington, Grant Park, Alameda, Lads Addition, Laurelhurst, some of these neighborhoods in inner Portland, eastern side Portland, which are typically a lot more expensive. Okay, so let's start things off and dig into our very first neighborhood in northeast Portland, and that's going to be Irvington. And I will say I'm incredibly biased here because Irvington is the neighborhood that I live in. There's multiple reasons why Irvington is fantastic. Firstly, look at the location. It's right here. It goes from about northeast 7th through to about northeast 27th, from Fremont down to Broadway. So it's kind of this sort of square box right here. The proximity to central, downtown Pearl District right here, Nob Hill, very, very close. It's a 10 to 15 minute drive. And then the houses in this area, they're the older historical homes. Most of the neighborhood is at least 100 years old, but you've also got some Victorians in the southwest corner of Irvington. So it's a truly beautiful area. The streets are like tree-lined streets. It's a very great place to live, a great community, and it's a historical district as well, which means there's certain protections about what people can do to their homes. So it's very unlikely they're going to knock down an old home and put one of those skinny tower block ones and multiple properties on one lot. So it's a protected area, top pick for most people, a great centralized location, a very desirable neighborhood area. So there's not that much on the market in Irvington, but this is the price point, and you also see homes over $1 million as we look at our future video. But there are a few properties right in this area. There's one here for $854,000, another one here for $995,000. So let's take a look at this first one here and give you an idea of what you can expect from a house in this neighborhood. So this one here, it's $995,000. It's 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's just over 3,000 square feet. And you will find a fairly wide selection of styles of homes in Irvington. They're not all going to be this big and grand like this property here. You'll find some smaller bungalow style properties which are around 2,000 square feet. Entry price point in this neighborhood is going to be $700,000 minimum. You can spend obviously a little bit less than that for a fixer, but really in this neighborhood, and it's the same for Ladd's Addition, Laurelhurst, Eastmoreland, the entry point is going to be a minimum of $700,000 for this neighborhood. This one I say is a little bit more because it's a larger home. And in Irvington, you'll find properties up to 4,000 square feet. So kind of a wide selection of homes overall. Let me just go back to the first picture. It's quite typical in a neighborhood like this that you'll have kind of these grand front porches, so plenty of places to kind of sit out, look at your neighbors, talk to your neighbors. It's kind of quite typical. And again, this house is built in 1917, quite of a typical range. In Irvington, the slightly larger homes are going to be built around 1905 through to 1920, and then the more bungalow style ones, which are around 2,000, 2,500 square feet, are going to be slightly later, 1925-ish, and it's kind of similar throughout parts of the city as well. So if you like the historical home, kind of those are the date ranges to keep in mind. You'll see kind of got some of the original features and lots of kind of wood built-ins. Obviously this is being updated in places, but kind of a cool vibe overall in this house. Oh, this is very modern, very different. This might have been like a screen-in porch, a sleep-in porch or something that's been updated, but this is definitely not original style. And then kind of big bathroom. Very woodsy cabin vibe overall, and a decent sized kitchen overall. This could well be the basement. Obviously not all houses will have the basement renovated, but this kind of gives a secondary living area overall, but kind of a nice charming backyard overall. So kind of a good starting option. But I say the properties in Irvington are really going to vary dramatically, and you can spend comfortably more than $1 million in Irvington. This one here, just under $1 million, 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, around 3,000 square feet. Okay, so let's take a look at another option in Irvington. And I will say Irvington is kind of a fair reflection of similar nearby areas, which would include Alameda. You've got Grant Park and then Beaumont Wilshire right around here. So this whole area right here. The homes will be very, very similar from Irvington, Alameda, Grant Park, Beaumont Wilshire. You've got Sabin, Alberta, and some of these similar areas as well. Homes are going to be fairly similar. Irvington, you might have slightly higher, slightly larger, grander homes in parts of Irvington overall. All right, but let's take a look at this one here, $854,000. Again, this is typical not just of Irvington, but those surrounding areas. And I've actually been through this individual property. So listed for around $855,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and a half bathroom as well. This one's just over 3,000 square feet as well. And the style, as you can see, is completely different to that first one we just took a look at. But this again is also quite typical for a property in this area. So this is going to be a little bit later, mid 1923, so about 10 years built after that first one, which goes back to what I was saying. The slightly older homes are going to be slightly more grander and larger. This home like this, kind of a bungalow style that might have had some additions, but this kind of style kind of gives you the idea on what you can expect. Again, a garage down below the bottom of the house with kind of some steps up, again, is quite typical in this area, but not every house of this size will be like that. Okay, so lots of steps up. Overall, charming home. You'll see beautiful large windows on most houses in Irvington and the surrounding areas. And again, kind of a fireplace to one side, very typical. And then the dining room to the other side as you walk through the front door. A very typical layout, kind of a very, you'll find this layout in quite a lot of the properties. Kitchen, obviously a little bit dated, needs some renovations, but it's a good size at least. Gives you an idea on kind of the size I expect. I remember this property, I walked through it, the layout is a little unusual. There's a bedroom with some staircases leading up from one of the bedrooms, so it's kind of a slightly unusual layout, not quite so typical in some parts, so maybe they've added on or converted some rooms. And remember, some of these, I call them bungalow style houses, the attics might not have been finished when they were built, so the staircase might have just been off a bedroom because that was the easy point. It's not normal to find a staircase off the bedroom, but the staircases of these ones can be quite shallow and quite steep, just to use kind of the upstairs floor. So this is what I mean. It's kind of a bedroom here, and then these shallow steps, kind of attic style steps, into the finished upstairs. You can again see sometimes you may have limited headroom in places, but up here is going to be the primary suite, and nice primary suite with good closet space, fantastic closet space actually, and then a full bathroom up here as well. All right, and then basements, the headrooms, it varies dramatically, right? And a little pro tip, if you want a little bit of extra value when you're buying a property, try to get as much headroom as possible. That allows you to finish it and maybe add a second living room down in the basement if that's something that you're thinking of. But sometimes that headroom really does vary from property to property. Okay. All right, unfinished basement space there. But overall, this is kind of a fair reflection of a property in this area overall. Charming backyard, charming little house, and this is a fantastic location. All right, so Northeast 25th, it's just south of Fremont, so you've got Luca's Italian restaurant, and you've got like a coffee shop and a few other places right on the doorstep as well. So right next to Fremont Street, a fantastic location. Okay, so this price point, like I mentioned, opens up a wide variety of other neighborhoods. Irvington, Alameda, Beaumont Wilshire, Grant Park, this whole area here, really starting price point to get into these neighborhoods is going to be $700,000. This one here, right on the cusp of our price point, actually on the lower end of our price point. Let's take a quick look at this one overall as well. Kind of a nice, charming home, $700,000, built in 1926. And I should say that entire area I just mentioned, Alameda, Irvington, Grant Park, Beaumont Wilshire, these homes will all be from the 1920s and earlier. You find some Victorians, but very typical style, price range. This one's 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, 1 half bathroom, and it's 2,800 square feet. So let's take a quick look through this one. All right. Yeah, charming. Again, very similar style to what you'll see. Large windows on the front, fireplace to one side, kind of very, very typical layout. So this one looks very similar to a lot of houses you'll find in this area. $700,000 is a good price, for the size of this property. It could well be there's an issue with it somewhere, but it's a good price for a house in these areas. But yeah, great headroom up here as well, nicely finished overall. And then this is the basement space, unfinished down there. But overall, it could well be that there's a bit of extra living room in the garage, or maybe it's storage. But this is a entry-level price point for this area, and you can see it's a nicely finished home inside, move-in ready, so kind of a good option. Okay, so it might well be that I'm not filming this video at the optimum time. Inventory is still incredibly low here in Portland, and you'll see there's actually no houses in this price range in Laurelhurst or Ladd's Addition, but this is the price range where you would expect to find properties in this area, in these areas. Now, you'll also expect to see properties in these areas over $1 million as well. But right now, there's no properties on the market in these areas But if this is the price range you're looking for, I would highly recommend you consider Laurelhurst and Ladd's Addition. Laurelhurst, you got Laurelhurst Park. It's a beautiful park, probably my favorite park in all of Portland. It's got a beautiful pond in there, very nice walkable area, and has a nice historical vibe. Laurelhurst, it's got these kind of curved streets, and there's some incline there as well, but you've got some spectacular grand homes. Similar vibe to Irvington. I would say Irvington and Laurelhurst have a very, very similar vibe, more prestigious neighborhoods, along with Eastmoreland, which we'll touch on overall as well. But Irvington, Laurelhurst, Eastmoreland are kind of those higher end neighborhoods on the east side of the river. And whilst we're talking about Eastmoreland, this is Eastmoreland down here. The Eastmoreland has beautiful homes, and I'll put some B-roll up now to give you an idea on kind of the types of properties in Eastmoreland. Homes in Eastmoreland are also a little bit larger than what you may find in other parts of the city. They tend to start around 2,500 square feet, and it feels like they're all renovated beautifully. The upkeep on them is in great condition. The one negative that I personally have about Eastmoreland, and I've heard from some of my clients as well, is that it's a little bit cut off from other parts of the city. You've kind of, you're going to go down this road here, MLK 99, to get down to Eastmoreland, and it's kind of a little bit separated from other parts of the city, which is going to be a northeast, southeast Portland up here. So it's a little bit separated. Now, unfortunately, there's also nothing on the market in Eastmoreland, but this is really the goal. There's actually one here. Let's take a look at this one for $930,000. All right, so there's one property in Eastmoreland, $930,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's 3,300 square feet, so it's quite a big property for this price point. It may well be that it needs a little bit of upkeep, but overall, it's got some of this charm. Let me just go back. Beautiful kind of entryway, and you'll see these arches are typical in all of these older historical homes. This one again, let me just check the information. Built in 1940, so Eastmoreland's a little bit newer than parts of Northeast and other parts of Southeast Portland. And then you'll see just kind of a charming, larger rooms, lots of those interior doors, curves, but kind of a typical layout. This one obviously needs quite a lot of updating on the inside, new carpets needed, but beautiful large windows, lots of natural light. There's a completely new kitchen by the looks of it as well. But overall, a good sized house, just needs someone to come in and kind of renovate it and bring it up to kind of a bit more the modern desirability standards. How cool is that? Is that like a Pac-Man machine? Beautiful. Yeah, so overall, that kind of gives you an idea. But this is a good price, $930,000. It's big, 3,300 square feet, so it's a big house, but it may well be that it's still needs some extra work. Okay, so let's touch on this area right here, so a little bit east of Ladd's Addition, Hawthorne. So Hawthorne, you'll see kind of this, you might be able to see a slightly yellow outline from around 32nd, 30th-ish, further through to about 50th. There's a lot along here, kind of good places to eat, lots of bars, lots of clothing stores, record stores. There's quite a lot, it's quite active on Hawthorne, so there's plenty of places to kind of go out, take a stroll, get some bites to eat. So being close to this area is quite desirable. Belmont as well, there's a little patch here as well, and then Division down here, you have some stretch where there's plenty of places along here, and Clinton as well has a few places. So kind of there's quite a lot going on in Southeast Portland in terms of great places to eat and places to go out. So anywhere in this area between Ladd's Addition, Laurelhurst, and kind of in this area is quite desirable. People like to be in this area. Let's take a look at a couple of options in this area. One right here on right next to Hawthorne, $799,000. All right, so this one's on Madison Street. So $799,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and a half bathroom as well. Built in square foot is 1912, and it's built in 1906. So again, slightly older property here. It's probably got some beautiful characteristics, and if you can't tell, I do love those older historical homes. Let's take a quick look. Now, this is one thing to keep in mind. In parts of Southeast Portland, you will find houses built next to more apartment buildings, condo buildings. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as you go through your search. It may well be that this house backs onto Hawthorne or is near Hawthorne, which is kind of why you may find properties like this. But Southeast Portland is a little bit more densely populated than what I see in Northeast Portland. So definitely keep things like this in mind. And this will have a negative effect on the property value as well. So this could be a great property on the inside, but this is having makes it harder to sell overall. Okay, so again, older property, you'll find kind of good staircases. We're going to find some older characteristics, so slightly curved rooms with the bay windows. Yeah, kind of lots of natural light, and it's a nicely updated kitchen overall. All right, so it's a pretty good shape. Got the brick fireplace there as well. All right, so it gives you kind of the idea on what to expect. Kind of a typical property of this era. All right. Basement's been finished, and of course it's very Portland to have the porch swing on right out the front. And it's kind of got a nice, wrap-around porch, so quite a desirable location. And this is a decent size, side yard as well. So kind of this actually might be a larger lot. I'll take a look in a moment. But yeah, you kind of got a nice, I think it's kind of Victorian style property. Yeah, so it's built on 0.15 acre. Most homes in this area are built on 0.11 acre, so it's almost a 1.5 times size lot overall. But that gives you a little bit of an idea on this area. Okay, let's take a look at a couple more options. There's one here for $849,000 on Belmont. Belmont's kind of a busy street, but this is a quieter part of the street. Let's see, $849,000. It is, let's see, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,687 square feet. The lot size is actually a little smaller than some of the nearby properties, but again, built in 1907. So these are kind of some of the older homes. Again, very typical, beautiful front porch. I love these front porches. I think it's very attractive. You can kind of get an idea on the types of properties next door as well. All right, but kind of a Victorian that might have had some extension. This might not be original, this patch here. Alright, but, oh, interesting. Okay, beautifully renovated inside, and some good level of design as well. I love some of the features like this kind of openness between one room to other, and big openings between it. Staircase as well, that's kind of beautiful and grand. I think they actually did a nice job painting the interior. A little bit different to just painting everything white, which you see in many homes. So a good level of design in this house. Decent sized kitchen. Looks like it's been pretty recently upgraded and updated. So yeah, this one looks pretty move-in ready and has certainly a nice level of design. Some nice light fixtures as well, and kind of the seating on the side as well. And I love these kind of barn doors. This one definitely feels like it's been renovated recently with some good design level. Nice, attractive bathroom, very typical. But yeah, I like this house. This is attractive property, and a nice clawfoot tub as well. All right, so it's kind of a good option. I think that shows you a little bit of contrast on what you can expect. There's a lot of different variety of properties. This one, $850,000, just under. Nice front porch. It's a little smaller, 1,687 square feet, but still 4 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple more options. You'll see there's some more up here, just kind of east of Laurelhurst. We're in the North Mount Tabor area. Let's take a look at this one here, $775,000. Now, here's a little pop quiz for you guys. If you don't currently live in Portland, there's one thing you need to know is that street names here are not pronounced the way you think they should be named. Most of you, I certainly did when I moved here, would think they should be pronounced couch. This is pronounced cooch. So there's definitely some interesting names and pronunciations throughout Portland. Don't worry, you'll get used to it. But this is a very different style property. $775,000, 3 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, 2,200 square feet, 2,274. And this is part of the North Tabor neighborhood. Now, Mount Tabor, it's a old extinct volcanic cinder cone. And it means actually Mount Tabor Park has some beautiful views. There's some reservoirs in there as well, but the views there are spectacular. And that means houses that are built around the side of Mount Tabor will also have some views, or have certainly some incline around the neighboring street. So you can see this looks like it's built on a bit of a steep street overall, but let's take a closer look at this one. yeah, kind of quite attractive down the hill. So let's take a look. Nicely updated inside, spacious inside. And this one, like I say, built in 1947, so it's giving you a bit of a contrast on what on the types of properties. The floors kind of, it's like maybe this is like tin or something on a backsplash. Floors quite different. Obviously, that's a design choice. Personally, I like to see the floors match throughout the entire home or be similar. I understand that the floors may not be consistent. Then down in the basement, not all basements will be finished, but this is another good option of a finished basement. So if you're looking for a living room, a more casual living room downstairs, this would be a nice option. And a full kitchen down here as well, or at least kind of a partial kitchen, so it could well be a good rental opportunity. This makes it a little hard to use, but maybe this is more somewhere to put your Christmas tree or to store some certain items. You could have a kid's playroom or something up there, but a little hard. Oh, this is interesting. So it looks like this is kind of a separate property built on it. So this is a separate rental property. This certainly makes it a very interesting option. So this is like the garage that's been allows you to rent it. So it's two separate buildings. Fantastic. So if you're looking for a property where you can have someone pay part of your mortgage, this could certainly be a great option on multi-generational living. But yeah, definitely an interesting option. And this is kind of this is the floor plan to help us understand it. So you see the bottom half of these two ones here, the garage is on the floor here, and then you've kind of got the upper floor of the ADU, so a bedroom, living room, and then a kitchen there as well. And then this is the main house, so you've got some kind of a kitchenette down there. So you could well have someone renting the basement and then someone renting this upper floor, and then you just live on the main floor in the main house itself and having a lot of rental income. So potentially a very good investment option. Okay, so that covers northeast and southeast Portland. So let's move on to a different area. Again, in the previous videos where I was looking at 500,000, 600,000 properties up to 700,000, you would see a lot of options in this area. There's almost nothing in these areas at all because you can find a lot of homes under that price point. Also in North Portland, there's very few homes in this price point as well because, again, those are cheaper neighborhoods. So if we're now looking at areas a little bit higher in their price point. So along here, like all my other videos so far, you're always going to find properties in the Pearl District, downtown Portland, the Alphabet area, South Waterfront, anywhere kind of around here, because these are all the high rises, and you'll find condos for as low as the low to mid $200,000, over $1 million as well for penthouse apartments. So you're definitely going to find a plethora of options in any price point along here. But let's go a little bit further to the west. I touched on areas like Northwest Heights, Forest Heights in a video where we're looking at 500 to 600,000. Reason being because in that price point there was townhomes. That's the entry level price point. But now there's quite a lot of properties in this mid $900,000 price point. In Northwest Heights, Forest Heights, you'll have some fantastic views. This is a desirable location. Properties here tend to be a little bit on that larger scale. Grand properties, you may have 3-car garages in this area. Definitely kind of an interesting area. So this one here, 949,000 for 3,500 square feet. One right down the street, this one's 2,700 square feet, 4-bed, 2-bath. This one here, 975,000 for just over 4,000 square feet. This one here, another one. So plenty of options in that price range. Let's take a look at this one here. Kind of gives you an idea on what you can expect in this area. Okay, so $949,000. Bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, and then a half bathroom as well. 3,500 square feet on the inside, built in 1995. That's typical for this area. So the types of homes here in kind of this northwest part of Portland, completely different to what we saw on the east side. If you like the historical homes, you need to be east of the Willamette River. If you like something a little bit newer, a little bit larger, maybe a little bit larger lot, because this one is going to be, about 1/5 of an acre, then the west side's the right area for you. So really think about what style home you want, what type of living you want. The east side is very much older neighborhoods, established neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, lots of bars, restaurants, cafes built in the neighborhoods. The west side, a little bit more spread out, a little bit more walking, a little bit more driving between places is going to be needed, but then you get a little bit more in terms of size and, you know, size of the property and size of the lot as well. So there's definitely a contrast between the east side and the west side of Portland. And then I will say this kind of archway, very high archway, you'll see this all over northwest, southwest Portland for homes built in the mid-90s, early 2000s. It seems to be a very popular feature because it allows, actually just go back, you'll see that it means you get some certain sunlight on these kind of upper floors up here, and sometimes you have very high ceilings on the inside as well. All right, but this is very, very typical of what you'll find in this area. Large size homes, big windows, kind of more, a lot more bedrooms generally, just larger homes in this area. All right, so kind of a nice updated kitchen. It's probably original from the 90s, but certainly kind of gives you that the ideal. Yeah, most of this looks probably original for when it was built in the mid 90s overall. But this is what you're going to expect when you find homes in this area. So kind of a cool little bar on the ground floor. Some homes here will have like a media room, so kind of like a place where you can watch your movies with the family. But this one seems to have like a kind of a mini ADU slash kind of wet bar down there. And this is kind of typical for homes in this area with kind of the rear deck of several layers. Reason being, in this area, it's quite steep, quite hilly, and therefore having a flat lot is quite uncommon. So there's something to keep in mind. You may not have like large amounts of open grass for the family to play on. So backing onto some trees like this is quite common actually overall. But it's private because you own a certain part of that land. Then having this nice deck at the top makes it kind of an attractive area. But yeah, it's a nice view. It's kind of a peaceful, relaxing vibe here. Okay, so that was one option in this Northwest Heights area. Plenty of other options here. Let's take a look at this one here on Pinnacle Drive. So this one is $935,000. 4-bed, 2 full bathrooms and a half bathroom, 2,700 square feet. So on the smaller side of what you will find in this neighborhood, right? This is pretty much kind of like the smallest type of property, apart from condos and a few townhomes that you will find in this area. But for a single family home, this is definitely on the smaller side for this neighborhood. But it's still built on about 1/3 of an acre. But yeah, you're still going to have, 3-car garage overall. And again, the same style archway that you're going to find in many homes in this area. This is a great picture because it gives you an idea on kind of the style of the neighborhood. Lots of trees, quite steep, an attractive area, and you can even see from the street itself, this is flat, so this is clearly going downhill, so kind of a steep area. Pinnacle Drive is one of the roads that kind of goes through, and it's kind of quite a steep street overall as well. But yeah, plenty nice features inside. This one was built in the year 2000, so it's about 25 years old. Large bedrooms, again, this is very typical. You'll find large rooms, you'll probably find some large closet space, large bathrooms. Everything is just a lot larger than what you'll find on the east side. All right, kind of these staircases. This is all very, very typical style of what you'll find in a home in this area. And again, this house has not been updated since it was built in 2000 in terms of some of the style and the characteristics of the interior of the property. So, if you want something a bit more updated, you can certainly do those renovations, but this is what you'll typically find for properties in this area that have not gone through those updates. But yeah, it's a good option. A little bit smaller as property than some others you may find in your area, but yeah, $935,000 for 4-bed, 2-bath, 2.5 bathrooms. And just to give you an idea on property taxes, this is quite high in terms of property taxes. Multnomah County is a higher property tax bracket. Multnomah County covers the majority of Portland. You also have Washington County, which is to the west of Portland. So just west of areas like Forest Heights, you'll be going into unincorporated areas like Bethany, and I can touch on that in a moment. Washington County definitely has a lower tax bracket. So taxes here, not cheap, $16,000 a year. Okay, so that's Northwest Heights. We'll stay Northwest Portland. Now, technically, areas like Bethany, and I've talked about Bethany a lot on my channel. Bethany is not part of Portland. It's an unincorporated area. However, homes here will have a Portland address. Okay, now there's plenty of places in Bethany which are great. If you're someone who's looking for an over 55 community, then right along here, this is the Claremont neighborhood in Bethany. So these homes typically cater to people looking for over 55 neighborhoods. So that means one permanent resident must be over the age of 55, and there cannot be any permanent residents on the property who are under the age of 18. So there's going to be a few rules, but those are the main things to keep in mind. Also, this area here, this is the Claremont neighborhood. They're built on a 9-hole golf course, and you may well find plenty of homes in this area that are also single-story homes. Okay, it's a little bit of a higher price point for the neighborhood for the terms of the size property you'll get. It's a desirable area. Property prices go a little bit higher than the norm just because of the demand for this area. All right, it's a beautiful area. So $879,000. It's 2 full bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 1,500 square feet. Property taxes, you can see, significantly lower than the last one, $6,900 a year. All right, 2-car garage to start off with. I'm curious to see if this has got some, you can see some golf course views along the back here. All right, and a charming little courtyard in the back here. Beautiful, love it. Big windows, all right, love this. And there's also a door out to the patio out the side here. But yeah, this is a really nice house. You'll find many houses that are backing onto the golf course will make sure they accentuate the views with kind of these large windows. But this is a nice open plan property. This one built in 1996. I feel like this is one that will probably sell pretty quickly. Doesn't appear to need kind of many changes. Nice big kitchen, good vibe overall. Single story living, kind of has some nice cosmetic updates throughout as well. So it's got some charm overall. And kind of several bedrooms, kind of grand bedroom here, which is perhaps being used as an office or and then yeah, beautiful. So this is kind of your courtyard and you're overlooking the golf course. So it makes the backyard feel really large, very quiet, tranquil. So this is the Claremont neighborhood in Bethany. It's an over 55 neighborhood, so it's not going to be applicable for everybody, but this is a highly desirable location if you are looking for over 55 living. So what that means is that there's kind of a clubhouse on the property. It's kind of connected to the golf course. So that's going to be more for your social events. So, and it has a wide calendar aimed at people of over 55 years of age. So yeah, back to Bethany. So that's this property here we just looked at on this golf course. Up in the northern part of Bethany, there's a lot of construction going on. So if you want a brand new home, then this is perhaps the closest area to parts of downtown Portland. And there's quite a lot of different builders going on, but the two main ones is Taylor Morrison, east of Kaiser Road, and then Toll Brothers just west of Kaiser Road. So this is Kaiser Road that goes right through the middle. So let's take a look at a couple of different options. And I've been through lots of these properties, both the Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers ones. I've got videos on each of these as well. So reach out to me if you want to see that information or search through my channel as well. But you'll find plenty of new homes in this area. Let's take a look at a few options. This one here. You'll see, yeah, it's kind of not the actual, it's like a rendering of the property. I'll put up some B-roll now of some of this area because these are going to be just the renderings. But just to give you an idea, $850,000 gets you a 4-bed, 2.5 bathroom, 2,300 square feet. That's a Taylor Morrison home. And then and this is a good area for schools as well. The Sato Elementary School, a brand new school located right here. The other side, this is Toll Brothers, $849,000, 4-bed, 3.5 bath, 2,700 square feet. There's another one up here. Let's take a look. Actually, this one looks like it might not be a rendering. Let's take a look. Okay, so this has actually got some interior photos. So just under $925,000. 5 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms and a half bathroom, 2,900 square feet overall. Let's take a closer look. This is going to give you an idea on the style and the types of finishes you'll get with a Toll Brothers property. They are a little bit more pricier than Taylor Morrison, but I think the quality of the finishes is a little bit higher. So yeah, quite a desirable area. Great location actually, and then nice finishes inside. Now, something to keep in mind is the list price on these homes can significantly change once you go through the conversations with them, because the upgrade packages that you might get, you start to add on some custom features. So if the property is early on in the development process, you can certainly customize it, add some new features, different flooring, different countertops. That's when you add quite a bit to the price. So if you want to know more about these properties, do reach out to me. I've been through those. I've always got the price list and kind of what they're offering. And you can sometimes get some good discounts on financing as well. They'll give you some percentage back on a discount percentage of the loan. So definitely some good options. So reach out to me if you're looking for new construction. Okay, and now the last area I want to touch on is Southwest Portland. Southwest Portland is kind of a unique vibe to the other areas, whereas on the east side, northeast and southeast have a similar vibe. Northwest Portland feels like the homes can be from the 90s, 80s, 90s, spread out, a little bit more land. Southwest Portland feels quite different to the other areas. Homes here generally are on a variety of more curved streets because there can be some gradient. Depends how far out you get, but this area, for example, you can see the streets, a lot of curvation to those streets. And then the vibe of the houses is quite different. Lots of older fir trees in this area. But let's spend some time looking through some properties in this area. And we'll start with this one here, right? $950,000. So it's towards the upper end of our budget of trying to stay under $1 million. But this looks like a beautiful home, especially from the outside. Some wonderful curb appeal. But $950,000. 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,300 square feet, approximately a quarter of an acre as well. But yeah, lovely little property here. The tree-lined streets. And sorry, this one is built in 1985, so slightly newer than some, certainly on the east side. But yeah, gives you certainly the idea of what you can get here. Hopefully by now you're starting to see the various different types of homes that you get across Portland. East side, older, historic, grand homes. Northwest Portland, definitely those larger homes. Southwest Portland has a completely different vibe again. But this one's kind of an interesting property overall. Lots of photos of the design, kind of close-ups on pillows, and this one needs a little bit of work up here as well, but kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect. A beautiful landscaped backyard. Okay, so $950,000. That one is 3,300 square feet, so it's a good sized property. Now in this area, you're definitely going to get a very different type of property. So this one here, for example, $985,000, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet, kind of a grand front entrance. We'll take a look at it in a minute. I want to show you this one because, again, it's completely different to what we've seen so far. But you'll see this type of thing in this area because of how steep some of those areas are. But this one's $995,000. Built fairly new, less than 20 years ago, and it's 4-bed, 3.5 bathrooms, just under 4,000 square feet, so it's a big property. Let's take a closer look on the interior. So quite a steep property. You can see multiple floors, kind of on the side of a hill, but definitely a more modern vibe on the inside. And you may well be that if you're looking for some land and design your own home, this is probably the location as well, kind of parts of Southwest and Northwest Portland. But look at this, some absolutely beautiful views here from the dining room. So stunning, absolutely stunning. Nice kitchen as well. So this is a wonderful option. Very nicely updated. Again, fairly new, got some design here. It's kind of a cool wallpaper, look at this. I like that. And then, yeah, spacious, very spacious primary suite upstairs with a fireplace in the side of the room as well. And then you've got a bath and a full shower as well, and some good walk-in closets. Again, we're going through some properties. You're starting to see some of the bedrooms might be a little bit larger on this side of the city as well. So just some big differences between the east and west side. And kind of a wine tasting room. How cool is that? I'm not a big drinker, but for those of you who drink a lot of wine, this could be a perfect option. I love this, just kind of sitting out here having some nice views. I may well join you for a glass of wine if you invite me, if you buy this one. But this is a wonderful option. I love this a lot. Some fantastic views. Several little balconies, so no matter which way the sun is facing, you'll have some great views and get some shade or sun. But yeah, lots of different areas. Okay, very, very cool option. It's a very, very cool option. That one was 4 bed, 3.5 bathrooms, 3,900 square feet. Let's take a look at the one right next to it because it's quite different. Okay, it's a very different style. Similar price, $985,000 to just $10,000 less. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,500 square feet. So much smaller than that other property, but it's not quite so steep. We've got a little bit more kind of on the same level. Just 2 levels, this one here. So let's take a look. Still a steep driveway though. This one was built in 1968, so definitely a little bit older, but you can clearly see it's been updated recently. And look at these spectacular views. Wow, stunning, absolutely stunning, incredible. Yeah, this one's lovely actually. Nice fireplace, wood burning fireplace, so kind of an open floor plan overall. But yeah, views from these rooms, absolutely spectacular. So if you want views, this could certainly be a good area for you. Southwest Portland. Excuse me, Southwest Portland, and then parts of Mount Tabor, which is on the east side. Those are going to be the areas for some spectacular views. Okay, looks like views from almost all rooms, absolutely stunning overall. I like this house, it's been nicely updated. It's still got some of the charm and characteristics of a home from the 60s. But yeah, kind of a good property overall. I think this one should sell pretty quickly. It's got some a lot of features that people are really going to truly love. So yep, another truly great option. Okay, so before we continue, I did want to let you know that in next week's video I'll be conducting a similar tour again, but once again we're stepping up our price point and looking at the top neighborhoods with homes over $1 million. So with that in mind, I recommend you consider subscribing to my channel to ensure that video pops up in your feed when it's released next Tuesday. Also, if you are enjoying this video, please do help me out, show some support, click on that like button, and don't forget to reach out if I can help you with your move to the Portland metro area. Okay, so just to recap, at this price point, $700,000 to $1 million, you're opening up pretty much any part of the city at this price. Remember, median price point is in the low 600,000. So at this price point, you're definitely widening your areas. There's still going to be some houses in some neighborhoods you're not going to be able to afford at this price point. Some will go for comfortably over $1 million, over $1.5 million, and we'll touch on those in the next video. But at this price point, really, there's such a wide variety of areas that you'll be able to purchase into. But it really depends on the style of property you're looking for. East side, beautiful old houses. West side, slightly larger properties, a little bit more unique in their style. So really depends on exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so that's our tour of Portland and the main neighborhoods for you to consider for under $1 million. Now, there are nearly 100 neighborhoods in Portland, but hopefully this has at least given you some ideas on what might be a strong fit for you. But that said, if you are still unsure, reach out to me. We can jump on a Zoom call, discuss what it is you're looking for, and find a good fit just for you. Also, remember that in next week's video, we'll be bumping up our price point even further and talking about all the top locations with homes over $1 million. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you receive that information next week. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.